Hello, I'm IBXToycat, and welcome back to Q&A Saturday. This is the weekly series where I answer your questions about, let's be honest, at this point, mostly the cave update. Questions like this one from Bristol Lively about whether Minecraft should have new ores, and if so, what they should be. Ores in different dimensions would count as well. And although personally I've always thought more ores is more better, we had a direct confirmation from Corey Shibiak about this new ore question.
Will new ores be added?
So we're adding copper, as we announced it live. And beyond that, we don't have any plans to add any more ores for this update.
So the plan for the update so far, the list of features that they are definitely going to be working on so far, does not include any ores past copper, and that does seem a little weird, because personally I think for a cave update, it would make sense to add some more ores, but I guess their focus is going to be on improving the existing ores and how they generate and such. However, I totally think in future updates we should see an end ore. I would love for there to be a real reason to go mining in the end and maybe have end caves in the future, but I'm getting ahead of myself now. But also it'd be great to see some more nether ores, or perhaps just some existing real-world ores in the nether. But yeah, they're focusing on the existing Minecraft content. They want to polish up the game, it seems, rather than just add a trillion things and not have a purpose for them, which is something I can totally respect. So the second question here comes in from General Catalan, who asks, what was your thoughts on the Ask Mojang Caves and Cliffs edition? Kind of wish they revealed more, but was still interesting to see the devs' thoughts. So they do this maybe a couple of times a year, where they ask Mojang people questions, and usually we get a lot of really interesting answers, but in the case of this one, it was 25 minutes, and with just a few exceptions, every single answer was, we don't know, or that could be coming, but we can't confirm it, and things like that. But we got one really interesting snippet, and I want to show you that snippet right now.
What is the Warden protecting in the deep caves? I only ask this because of the unique name you gave the mob and its resemblance to the end.
Yes, so the Warden is not necessarily protecting anything. We wanted to make it so that the name Warden was very ambiguous. I definitely think there are going to be people like theory crafting out there what it actually means. It does have a meaning, but we're not going to tell you, obviously. But there is definitely going to be lots of loot and lots of chests within the Deep Dark.
That's right, there's going to be lots of loot and lots of chests. The Deep Dark isn't just going to be a place with some new looking stone. It's not just going to be a place with the skulk sensors and the ability to find Minecraft's most dangerous mob, the Warden, but it's also going to have some specific reason to want to go there, some reason to want to actually, deal with the Warden, a mob that can two-hit kill you, even with full netherite armor. So, yeah, that's exciting, but it continues.
Deep Dark, we really want it so, the objective of the Warden is not so much to fight it head on. We want it to actually be more like you're avoiding it and trying to get loot from chests that are within the Deep Dark. I even kind of thought recently, I had this analogy of the Warden is not a boss. It's more like a natural disaster almost. Like when you have a tornado barreling towards you, you don't try and swing a sword at a tornado, you try to run away from it.
That's right, they are literally trying to make the Warden such a hard mob to kill that you shouldn't even try. They're not going to be trying to balance it so that you can kill it once you get X, Y, and Z. They're going to be making it something that realistically you're not meant to kill. And although I think with the right enchantments and the right strategy, it's definitely going to be easy. I mean, stacking yourself up might even work. We're going to have to see how they react to that. The fact that they want to make it this just genuine natural disaster that you're not meant to fight, you're meant to avoid, I love that in theory, and I'm looking forward to seeing that later on, of course. But let's continue, because there's even more.
Yeah, so we're not quite sure yet. I mean, my initial gut feeling is that I think we kind of want it to not drop anything at all, because we don't want to incentivize players actually, attacking them. Because that's just not the sort of gameplay that we're going for the Warden. But also at the same time, it might be interesting to have some sort of trophy item or something which, you can say, hey, I defeated the Warden. This thing that is just so difficult to defeat. I think that might be fun, but no promises.
So that's just another layer of confirmation that yes, they do not want the Warden to be a boss or a thing that you go out and set out to kill. It is meant to be a just genuine terror. It's kind of like a challenge in Minecraft, but the challenge is something that you don't explicitly kill, you don't get strong enough to fight, and there's not even going to be a specific reward for doing so as not to incentivize players to have to do it. But to me, I hear that and I think, yes, I want to fight the Warden. I want to, eventually get get strong enough that I can kill these things. Yeah, I love the challenge. I'm looking forward to doing that when the update comes out. But with that said, let's move into the next question. Although first, you're probably curious about the fact that in the background, there's a pillager raid happening in my end cube. I forgot that when you settle down 2 villagers, it technically counts as a village, and so here was one of my more confusing raids I've had in a while, I guess. But with that said, let's move to the next question, which comes in from Connor Childers, who says, are you glad they're doing a beta so early, Toycat, even though it's kind of sad that the actual release date of the cave update is many, many months away? And, the truth is that it does seem like it's really far away. I mean, it's a minimum of 8 months and technically a day because May 31st wouldn't be summer just yet. It's really, really, really far away. And I think it's great that they're doing beta so early. I just want people to know that, like, this is very early betas. This is very early snapshots we're seeing right here. I hope we see more develop over it, but we have 8 months worth of this happening. And in case you think like, oh no, they're totally going to release earlier, they were just having a placeholder, here is more confirmation from that Ask Mojang that yeah, they're probably not.
So can we know the exact release date of the Caves and Cliffs update?
We've said summer 2021. I think that's as exact as we want to be. We want to make sure that we build a really, really good update.
So yeah, there's just another confirmation that they're saying summer 2021 right now. There is so much to be done ahead of, making this happen. We've seen, really early betas and demos for all this stuff, but they're going to have to develop that over the next weeks and months. They're going to have to put that in snapshots. They're going to have to bug test it. They're going to have to make, Minecraft bigger and better. And obviously that takes a very long time. It does feel really early, but I hope they use our time and they use our feedback to make the game better. And that's why I recommend that you provide constructive feedback if you want to use the feedback site. And we can actually make a bigger difference than we can usually. That's why on this channel, I want to make some constructive feedback videos when there are things that maybe, could use a serious improving, like maybe the goat horn or something. But, there's lots of these things that I think we can actually talk about, and there is enough time to seriously impact it, which is great in my opinion. Speaking of things that are great in my opinion, Dane asks, do you feel AFK farms are cheating/exploiting and ruining the game, or are they a smarter way of obtaining bulk resources with minimal effort? So I think, obviously they're not a way of cheating or exploiting the game, because if you look at the Caves and Cliffs update, they are including skulk sensors, which will allow you to do more things of redstone and will allow you to make more types of farms. Like, they do not mine farms, and in fact I would even argue it is an essential part of Minecraft's progression. I think there are particular farms that are a bit too OP. I think the iron farm, for instance, like, it is literally exploiting the way that iron golems spawn. If there is going to be an iron farm in Minecraft, and I totally think there should be one, there should be a way to farm almost any resource that you can. Like, over time, that's an important thing that they add through more updates. I think it should be based on, like, actually automatically mining it, like some form of TNT minecart system where you can automatically feed it all into a smelter. That would be really cool. That would be a lot more fun and also a lot more balanced, because right now in Iron Farm, the amount of effort put in versus the amount of reward you get out of it seems like the most unbalanced. But I mean, obviously, anyone can play Minecraft how they like. Some people actually do like actual cheats and exploits. I think AFK farms definitely aren't that. I would just love to see the Iron Farm reworked, and I'm still boycotting Iron Farms until it happens. You better believe that's how things are going to go. And with that said, let's move to the next question from Vestman81, who calls me out by saying, do you like being a contrarian? You might assume that I would, but as a result of that, I don't, so no. With that said, though, let's move into the next question, which comes in from Quinn P, who says, would you like to have an auto-smelting enchantment on pickaxes? And to answer your question, with a little bit of developer feedback right here, because honestly, adding new enchantments is everyone's favorite idea for the cave update, but the word from a developer themselves here is that they recognize there's lots of competing design spaces, and they don't want to have any upgrades that enchantments already do. In other words, they don't want different systems to compete for the exact same functionality, and so you can't have enchantments that do things that upgrades already do, and vice versa, so we can't have enchantments that replace a potion or something like that. And the problem with this is it kind of limits what they can do with new enchantments without debalancing the existing ones and really adding new stuff in there. I think auto smelting is the smartest idea that is missing. I think, being able to go out and mine iron and potentially, get more than 1 iron per block mine, perhaps you get 2 iron ingots for every single iron block you mine, that would be a really great use. And if you wanted to be really smart, you wouldn't even have to build a new enchantment, the auto furnace thing. You could just use fire aspect on the pickaxe. It could be a weird little Easter egg or something where you can't get it naturally, but you can put it on there using books. That would be a great reason to get more enchantments. I think using the existing enchantments on more tools to do more unique weird things, I think that's a great and kind of missed idea right now. And, hopefully we see some form of new enchantment, but actually a worthwhile enchantment in this next update. With that said though, let's move into the question we get every single week, because It's Me asks, do you think mountains will be able to spawn past Y128 with the 1.17 update? I mean, it It's the Caves and Cliffs update, so of course they're going to work on the vertical side of things, right? We have this debate every week, but now we have even more word from developer. This is from Lady Agnes herself, and it's kind of interesting to hear.
I'm very interested in building much higher than you currently allow.
That's a great question, and yeah, we have seen many of these questions. So yeah, we can say that we are looking into it, but we can unfortunately not promise anything at this point because it's kind of tricky tech-wise to extend the world height, and we also, for example, need to look into that we don't get performance issues from it. But we really do want to extend the world height and are looking into it.
So what it sounds like right there is they have heard people's cries for like, oh yeah, if it's going to be a Cliffs update, it makes sense to make them higher. But right now, any of the screenshots, any of the things we've seen have not been done above Y256. They would love to raise the height limit, and honestly, I think that's one of the smart, like, big ways to say you revolutionize Minecraft. Make it higher, make it lower, etc, etc, etc. I think that's important. They might not even have to pick the limit of 512, maybe just 384, which if you're curious is Y128 times 3, and then they can make the height limit much higher. And then if they make the height limit higher, I think there is no argument against, raising the terrain. Because it'd be kind of funny if mountains came to Java and they went up to 256, and on Bedrock they were only at Y128. That means that the mountains are effectively 3 times higher from the floor height. Basically what I'm saying is they need to raise the terrain. I imagine a lot of what this update actually is on the Bedrock side of things is the tech behind making it work, and that's probably why we've seen betas there earlier, but now we're diving into Speculation Town, my favorite little settlement to visit. So let's move into the next question, which comes in from Robert Sallow, who says, Toycat, I mean this with all due respect, but some of your builds look kind of ugly. I mean, you've been playing in the same Minecraft world for years now, and you still live in a cave. Why don't you ever improve your builds at all? And you know what, Robert Sallow? I'd like to insult your intelligence real quickly. You think that some of the builds in my world are ugly? That is clearly and objectively incorrect. They're all incredibly ugly. Which ones do you think aren't ugly? Like, what's wrong with you, man? Anyway, that said, let's move to the next question. Or to actually seriously answer it, I think in Minecraft it's all about building what you want to build. I think if you're trying to look for like objective good or objective bad or anything like that, it's very hard to find. Minecraft is a game about expressing creativity, and ultimately I have a lot of fun. People enjoy watching it, and I think those are way more important than trying to make a world that is objectively great to look at. Because again, building standards are always going to change. Art is not something that ever is complete, and Minecraft, as much as you might hate to think about it, is a form of art. So with that said, let's move into Julian C. Thomas Harris' question, which is, will speedruns ever come back? And it's a good question, because speedrunning was entirely revolutionized with the 1.16 update, and a lot of people said like, oh, so when Caves and Cliffs comes out, you're gonna start speedrunning again. And honestly, I do love speedrunning so much. I've been doing it long before there were leaderboards or any way to actually track records, and the reason I started speedrunning earlier this year was I wanted Minecraft Bedrock speedrunning to be a thing. I mean, like, I got the #1 run at one point, in the world, which was really great. It was really nice to be the best at something, but I wanted to start a Bedrock speedrunning community, and now if you look at Bedrock speedrunning, it's not only on par with Java, it's not this weird side thing, but also Minecraft Bedrock speedrunners are starting to defeat the game in just about as much time as the Java team. In fact, there's even a guy who beat it faster than the fastest Java time. It's insane, and I really want to make a whole video talking about that, but I love that speedrunning is a thing for other people, and I think it's kind of like weird to go back and be so embarrassingly bad compared to the new generation, because there are new techniques being found every single day. It's a new, fresh game to speedrun, and I'd love to try some on speedruns, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like really embarrassed when I'm like doing badly and people are like, oh, it's not even a speedrun, you just play in Minecraft. And for some reason that comment like really hurts me more than anything else, and it shouldn't, because like, what do I care? But I secretly do care, and maybe that's the real problem. But with that said, let's move into the final question from Captain Zach 007. What do you think the purpose of the goat horn will be if it's not already known? So its current purpose is really close to useless, let me just say that much right now. I think that the goat horn really needs to be worthwhile to make the goat not a useless mob. I think we're falling down the trap again, like we make this joke every update, and I think, oh, they've got it now, and they try something new. We need to not have another useless mob in the game. We don't want a mountain dolphin. We don't want a mountain panda. We don't want a mountain polar bear. We want an actually useful mob up there, and they said they don't want you to kill the mob or whatever for various reasons, but I think it's important that we have an actually useful use for the goat horn, and I'd love to rant about it for a solid half an hour. I have so many thoughts about how we can make neutral mobs not entirely useless, but I guess we'll have to leave that as a story for another day, because this is a Q&A video and we We can't just rant for half an hour about goat's horns, apparently the YouTube algorithm says. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video or found it informative in some way. If you did, you can like the video and subscribe with notifications turned on to see more of these daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all for a live stream later. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see those. You know, I've done a lot of self-promo here, because for some reason that's what YouTubers do at the end of videos. So with that said, enjoy 15 seconds of some Minecraft Sweden music.